Since the first volley of gunfire, brave Americans in every generation have answered the call of duty and won victory for freedom in its hour of need. General Douglas MacArthur once said that the soldier who is called upon to offer and to give his life for his country is the noblest development of mankind. We pay tribute to those brave souls who raced into gunfire, roared into battle, and ran into hell to face down evil. They made their sacrifice not for fame or for money or even for glory, but for country. Today, a new generation of American patriots are fighting to win the battle against terrorism, risking their lives to protect our citizens from an enemy that uses the murder of innocents to wage war on humanity itself. I believe that God has a special place in heaven for those who lay down their lives so that others may live free from fear and this horrible oppression. Now, let us pledge to make the most of that freedom that they so gallantly and brilliantly fought for. Their stories are now woven into the soul of our nation, into the stars and stripes on our flag, and into the beating hearts of our great, great people. Today we pay tribute to that legacy, a legacy you protect and grow each and every day. We dominate the sky. We dominate the sea. We dominate the land and space. Not merely because we have the best equipment, but because we have the best people. Each of you embodies the warrior creed. Your devotion, prowess, and expertise make you the most fearsome fighting force in the history of our world. Together with our allies, America's warriors are prepared to defend our nation using the full range of our unmatched capabilities. We will never yield, never waver, and never falter in defense of our people, our freedom, and our great American. That flag stands for the values of our republic, the history of our people, the sacrifice of our heroes, and our loyalty to the nation we love. This is the heritage of the American Armed Forces, the greatest force for peace and...
Hey, welcome back, everyone. Today, we're going to do something I consider truly special. A bonus episode coming off of episode 4, Faith, Family, and Valor on Veterans Day, one of my favorite days. Veterans Day, Memorial Day, Independence Day. Anytime we can show love to this country, to the men and women who have served, absolutely love it. So in this conversation, we are going to honor the legacy of service through the eyes of my dad. A man whose life and military journey reflect, in my opinion, courage, discipline, and deep devotion to the 3 pillars, faith, family, and country. We'll go through his early days of joining the Army, being stationed around the world, to his time in Desert Storm, Desert Shield to some, where he recorded one of the longest tank shots in Desert Storm. So let's dive in to this special episode and hear my dad's story in his own words. He grew up in Chandler, Oklahoma, a small town. I think we bounce between 3,500 people, something like that. So I'm just going to read from what he wrote down on his Army service here. So after high school, I tried my hand at going to college and found out pretty quickly this was not for me. My father, my grandfather Jim Rearman, who I did not get to meet, passed away during my freshman year, and I lost my North Star soon after. I lost interest in school and kind of drifted for a while. The allure of the military intrigued me. This was during the years of President Reagan's buildup of the military. The recruiters were offering bonus money for certain MOSs, that is, military occupational specialties. So I joined the Army as an armored crewman and shipped off to basic training in September 1985, collected $12,000. Man, breaking the bank. Completed basic training in 1985. I was off to my first duty station at Fort Irwin, California. The Army called this post the National Training Center, NTC. Basically, brigade-sized units stationed all over the U.S. would rotate to NTC and spend 3 to 4 weeks conducting combat operations against actually opposing force, OP4. The OP4 was made of U.S. soldiers like me. Think of it as a large laser tag game. It was a great training environment that allowed you to hone your tactical abilities against an actual unit, I'd say so. It was a difficult but rewarding place to be stationed. I learned more about combat ops than any other time in the Army. My oldest son was born there. You're welcome. At Weed Army Hospital, I was born in March 1987. After 4 years, my hitch was coming to an end, and we made the choice to re-enlist. So Uncle Sam decided I should PCS, permanent change of station, to Fort Hood, Texas. We arrived there in December 1989. A few weeks later, the unit that I was in would deploy to Germany in an exercise known as Reforger, return of forces to Germany. The Army would pretend that Russia had invaded Germany and would send stateside units to defend Germany. It was my first experience overseas. After 2 months, so let me kind of rewind there. He has to deploy overseas for 60 days, and he's got a 2-year-old at the house, 2.5-year-old at the house. Yeah, that's just tough. After 2 months, we redeployed back to Fort Hood. Around May of 1990, we began to train up for our upcoming rotation to NTC, which was scheduled for November. Part of this training including having all the tank crews qualified at gunnery. So in August of 1990, we are out at the live fire range. Early one morning, the gut truck pulls up, and we are buying coffees and hot chocolates off of it. The headlines of the USA Today was, Iraq had invaded Kuwait. None of us knew where Kuwait or Iraq was, so we continued with our training, but it wasn't long before shit hit the fan, so to speak. We got the word we would be deploying to help defend the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. There were a lot of long days and sleepless nights as we would move thousands of pieces of equipment by rail down to Brownsville. The equipment was loaded on ships. As they left the port, we headed back to Fort Hood. Spent some downtime with our families, and the last week of September 1990, we boarded commercial airplanes and took off to meet the unknown. Man, what a feeling. Once on the ground in the kingdom, we waited for the ships to arrive. Once they arrived, we offloaded all of our equipment, staged it, and then moved north to take up defensive positions along the border with Kuwait. It's now late October 1990. We are one of the first armored units from U.S. to arrive. We were a show of force to stop the Iraqis from invading Saudi Arabia. So welcome to the land of sand and scorpion. Have you ever seen a camel spider? Very freaking looking animal. To pass the time, when we would catch a scorpion and a camel spider, put them in the arena together in a fight to the death. Yeah, we got really bored over there. Over 700,000 soldiers deployed to Saudi Arabia during Operation Desert Shield, Desert Storm. Then came 16th of January 1991, and the air war campaign started. Not much changed for us. Ground pounders, we still guarded the border and continued with the training and weapons qualification to keep us sharp. One day we are in our assembly area, and a call comes over the radio for an air raid. So all hell breaks loose, and we're scanning the skies, and we spotted 2 items falling towards us. Most thought they were bombs, and they were headed right towards us. People running, jumping for cover under our vehicles into foxholes. We braced for impact as they crashed into the ground right in the middle of us. But there was no explosion. We waited after 15 minutes or so. We had to investigate it. Turns out they were external fuel tanks from the Saudi Air Force. They had got dropped early as they were supposed to land in Kuwait. Had to change my underwear after that one. As the air war carried on, our armor brigade was attached to the 2nd Marine Division to provide support for them. The mission was to move into Kuwait and clear the capital city. 24th August 1991, ground war begins. We breach the minefield and barriers that Iraq had installed for the last 5 months. The Marines took casualties and had several vehicles knocked out during the breaching operations. Once we made it through the minefields and obstacle belts, we were able to maneuver a lot more in the open and began to wade into the enemy positions. Direct fire engagements began in earnest as we advanced into Iraq defensive positions. As the tank gunner, I had free range to engage enemy vehicles at will. The M1A1 tank held 40 main gun rounds, and I probably went through 5 basic loads during our attack to liberate Kuwait. Wow. Between 180 to 200 rounds I fired at enemy tanks, fighting vehicles, and air defense systems. The longest shot I fired was at a tank that was 3,730 meters away. That's almost 2.5 miles. It was a direct hit and one of the longest recorded shots during the war. A British tank crew had the longest shot at over 4,700 meters. Wow. 2.5 miles, you get hit by a tank round. On 28th of February, a ceasefire is called and the war is over. The next few months was prepping and cleaning every piece of equipment we had so we could redeploy. We had to help clean up the highway of death, bury bodies of Iraq soldiers, move destroyed vehicles off the roads. We finally got called to move to the port and had to deal with those idiots. They had an MP company from Puerto Rico that inspected our vehicles before they could go on the ship to redeploy. They were assholes and mad that they had to be there, so they tried to make our lives difficult. They would fail our tanks for the slightest speck of dirt. Needless to say, after a few days, tempers flared and several fights broke out. The MPs got ass whoopings. Our tanks were cleared to redeploy. Arrived back in the States around 15th of April, 1991. Oh, let me step back there. He is September 1990. So he goes September 1990. He's out. Arrived back in the States April 91. September 1990. 7 months? Is that what I'm counting? Golly. 7 months to be away from your little boy. I couldn't imagine doing that right now. Being gone for 7 months. Arrived back in the States around 15th April 1991. We came home to a lot of civilian support and parades and the like. It was a tremendous feeling being back home and around family members. All you thought about for months was getting back home. However, it was difficult to transition back to a normal life. It's hard to describe being on edge for so long you can't just turn it off. Some of those memories I can never forget, and they will follow me to the grave. How about not being able to sleep because it's too quiet? During deployment, you slept next to vehicles and generators, and they were running, so you began to equate that noise with security. But back home, you don't have that same feeling. I'm sure that's why 22 veterans a day commit suicide. Always check on your veteran family members. Don't just take their word that they're fine. You can offer support in different ways, actively listen to them, spend quality time with them, being present during difficult times, especially the holidays, and encourage them to seek professional help if needed. From Fort Hood, we PCS'd to Germany. A barracks in Friedberg, Germany, was home for the next 3 years. I remember bits and pieces of that. Some of the perks of military service were the ability to travel overseas. We were able to experience much more of the world than most civilians do, traveling to places like Paris, France, European castles that were built hundreds of years ago, skiing the Swiss Alps. Just a few of the things we were able to do, all while defending Germany from the Soviets. We deployed to Bosnia to help the UN enforce a truce that ended the civil war there. My dad currently resides in Colorado, where he is a civilian contractor working for the military. where he conducts combat simulations for training purposes across different military bases. He'll take full platoons will gather there, and they'll have these simulations. But anyways, that is my dad's story. What an incredible story and legacy. You know, the decisions are made, the courage, the discipline. It reminds you that valor isn't just found on the battlefield. These young men join the military for a reason, and it's not just the battlefield. So, you know, it's lived out every single day in their perseverance and their love for family and country, in my opinion. You know, I will say, now that I'm a dad myself, I see this story in a whole new light. I understand more clearly the sacrifices that were made. I don't want to leave my kids for more than a couple of days. You know, he had to be away from me for 7 months. So the time away, the risks, that quiet strength that it takes to serve. My dad served for 21 years, a little over 21 years, and was ranked E8 when he retired. Dad, thank you for your courage, your discipline, the example you set. Your life has taught me what true service and integrity really look like. We love you for it. As we honor all who have served today, may we never forget the sacrifices made, the living, the men and women who are not with us anymore, the lessons learned, the generations strengthened by their courage. Thank a veteran today, please. Thank you for listening to this special episode of Faith, Family, and Valor. Until next time, keep standing firm in your faith, loving your family, and try to live with valor. Thank you.
As Americans celebrate Veterans Day this month, we honor all who have sacrificed to make peace and stability possible. We pay tribute to every proud American who has worn the uniform and served our country. Today, many nations are thriving because of the sacrifices made by American service members and our allies, and because of the sacrifices all of you continue to make each and every day. You are the reason the great American flag will proudly stand behind me wherever I go. And every time I look at that flag, I will think of brave men and women like you. And I will think of all of the American patriots down through the generations who poured out their blood, sweat, tears, hopes, and dreams to defend our country. You are the greatest hope for people who desire to live in freedom and harmony, and you are the greatest threat to tyrants and dictators who seek to prey on the innocent. The path of strong nations and free people, certain of their values and confident in their futures, is a proven path toward prosperity and peace. We cherish our cultures, we embrace our values, and we always fight for what we believe in. Because of you, the people of America and the freedom-loving people everywhere are able to fulfill their destinies and follow their dreams. And we are grateful for your families, for their sacrifice and support that allows our brave men and women to serve. We are eternally grateful for your service and for your sacrifice. And we are forever in your debt. I am so proud to be here with you today. We face many challenges and many opportunities, and we will face all of them together as a team. And if we do, I am certain that the future for America has never, ever looked brighter. Because of patriots like you, freedom will prevail. As your Commander-in-Chief, I thank you, I salute you, God bless you, God bless the armed forces, and God bless the United States of America. Thank you.